to resist the temptation to giggle because you know that you wasn't supposed to, then I want you to imagine what it feels like when you've got the giggles. And just imagine a little bit of that going in there. Maybe even you can chuck into the mix a little bit of excitement. Now, excitement's quite an interesting emotion because a lot of people often confuse it with fear because it's a heightened state of awareness. So you can imagine maybe it's Christmas morning, you're starting to feel excited, or maybe even the day just before Christmas. Christmas Eve at night time, you're beginning to wondering what your presents might be in the morning, starting to feel excited, and just put a little bit of that in there. As you do, I want you to imagine that you can curl up your toes and allow a smile to spread all the way up your body. So as the smile begins to move up your legs and then up through your body and then to your mouth, you can imagine the whole thing beginning to spin round. Now there are other sounds that you can hear besides the sound of my voice. Any sounds that you hear, like the dog whimpering downstairs, or the sound of cars driving by, or anything at all, can just cause you to relax more deeply. Now, as you know, there are things in the past that you have learned that have not been useful to you, and you've been able to change these learnings, and you can learn new things. So what I'd like you to do now, with your eyes still closed, just imagine yourself in the future, in situations where you feel happy, you feel calm, you feel at peace. But there is that old trigger there that used to cause that old response of fear. So you can imagine yourself looking out of the window and seeing the black sky, but feeling a sense of peace, knowing that you're safe, you're comfortable, you're secure, and you're at peace, and you can relax, and you can choose whatever you want to do with this time. Now, one of the easiest ways to change, and change can be really easy, is to become sick of the old way, to become bored of it, become frustrated with it, because it's been there for so long, it's been there for as long as you can remember. And you can know that it's much, much better to feel happy, to feel a sense of excitement, to feel a giggle going through you when you get this trigger, this situation that used to cause you to fear in the old way. So when you let go of that, you can create a void, and then you can fill that void with something that you prefer in its place. So in this case, you can fill it with a sensation of peace. And then each time you imagine yourself in a different situation, maybe you've just checked the weather report, maybe you've looked out of the window, maybe it's just that time of the year, or maybe you can feel the air is beginning to get a little bit close, a little bit muggy. So you know a thunderstorm is imminent. So in any of those situations, you can imagine yourself now spinning the happiness, the peace, in that opposite direction to what that fear used to spin. And as you do, you can just imagine yourself smiling and giggling to how silly it was that you were ever afraid of such a natural thing as a thunderstorm. And you can begin to look at thunderstorms in perhaps a new way. Begin to see the excitement. Begin to see the change in the freshness. Now, you know that sometimes when it gets really, really sunny and close and it's a bit too hot and muggy, and we're thinking, oh, we could do with a little bit of rain, and that's going to make everywhere feel nice and fresh again. Just like having a wash in the morning, making yourself feel really fresh and alert and alive. You can imagine how it feels for the planet to have this wonderful sensation of being able to shake off that mugginess and be able to get refreshed and alert. And as you do this, you can just keep on imagining different situations in the future, in the past, doesn't matter when, where you can allow yourself to spin this feeling of happiness, spin this feeling of excitement and joy and peace, and just smile to yourself and know that from this moment forward, you can allow yourself to have different sensations, and you can learn different ways of allowing yourself to enjoy whatever the weather. So as you can imagine yourself maybe looking out of your window, or even being outside on a lovely summer's day, you can feel at peace. And maybe if it's raining, you can feel at peace, or if it's cloudy, or even if it's foggy, or if there's hailstones, or if there's a thunderstorm. It doesn't really matter what the weather is. The weather doesn't dictate your mood. What dictates your mood is the way that you want to feel. So choose which sensation you want to feel now, in any situation. And just breathe in the happiness and the peace. That's fine. It's easy to feel peaceful in any situation because you can just breathe. That's all it takes. just to breathe. Bring yourself all the way back to your center. And then see yourself being peaceful and happy. What I'd like you to do now is to remember situations in the past where you did have a negative response towards a thunderstorm, but I want you to remember them in reverse. Now this is a little bit of a strange thing to do, so I'm going to help you out here. I want you to imagine that the thunderstorm's all gone away, and it's the wonderful sun has come out again, and it's a clear blue sky, and we're right at the end, and we're going to start doing things backwards. So imagine yourself moving backwards. Maybe you can hear people talking backwards on the radio, or you can see people walking backwards. The clouds are moving backwards through the sky, and as you imagine all this happening backwards in your mind, keep on spinning those good feelings. So for a moment, just allow yourself to let a little smile spread through your body again from your toes and moving upwards, and then spin these feelings around and around and around as you imagine the whole situation going backwards. So see it in your mind and go all the way back to the beginning of the thunderstorm until it's not even there anymore, and then feel safe and secure. Now let's run another one. This could be the thunderstorm that happened just this week. Imagine yourself at the end of it, feeling wonderfully peace and safe and secure, and then spin everything backwards. Imagine you're moving backwards, imagine you're talking backwards, and get right back to the beginning. As you do this, you can imagine a fanfare of circus music going on in the background, and you can laugh and giggle to yourself as you whiz all the way through the things you did on that day, all backwards. So maybe you're eating your dinner, but in this instance you're just moving the dinner from your mouth to the plate. If you had a drink, then it came out of your mouth into the glass or into the cup. Perhaps you went out for a drive, and in this situation you would have drove backwards, in reverse, wherever you went. And as you do this, all the way through it, you can spin those feelings and see the thunderstorms simply disappearing away, and the clouds melting away into nothing, the sun coming out again. All the time running it backwards in your mind and spinning those feelings. It's a strange thing to do, and as you do it, you can imagine once again what it's like to not be allowed to giggle, but to really, really want to. You can imagine what it's like to attempt to resist the temptation to giggle in situations where you're not supposed to. And you can take those feelings and you can mix them in with these feelings of peace as you play through these situations in your mind. You can choose any situation in your mind. In the past, it doesn't matter where it comes from, it could have been from years ago, it could have been from just this week. And you can see yourself in that situation, over there, picture yourself over there in the situation, but this time know that you're really safe, and at the end of the thunderstorm everything's okay, it's all peaceful, you're all okay, no harm was done, you were safe throughout. And you can give yourself, that other you over there that had that experience, you can give that other you the knowledge that everything is okay, everything is safe and secure, and it is peaceful. And you can allow them to have that wisdom and knowledge at any point through that experience, before it, during it, and after it. And you know that as you go through your life, from this moment forward, you know that you can take that peace with you. Because sometimes we say, we can laugh at a situation afterwards by looking back at how ridiculous it was. But why wait? You can just laugh at the situation that it was so ridiculous that in the past you had created this association between something as wonderful and majestic as a thunderstorm, something exciting, something magical, and you connected it to something as ridiculous as fear. So you can just let that go, and you can start to experience new emotions. You can choose heightened emotions if you wish, where you can choose a sense of excitement and wonder. So as you begin to relax a little bit more deeply, I want you to just separate your hands and rest them on your legs. That's fine. And I'm going to be talking for the next few moments to your unconscious now. It doesn't matter if your conscious mind listens in. You can choose to listen to these words if you desire, or you can choose to go on a little bit of a journey. A journey where you might like to imagine that you're lying on a wonderful beach. The sun's shining, there's a clear blue sky. I don't know if you're more aware of the sun, the heat beating down onto your face, or maybe the feeling of the sand beneath you, as you imagine yourself relaxing and peaceful without a care in the world.